This morning on Public Affairs on Peach, we are talking about domestic violence. Sheena Johnson with the Georgia Coalition Against Domestic Violence is with us to talk about where exactly you at home, if you're involved in a domestic relationship or a domestic violence relationship, you can get help. Sheena, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, somebody who finally now recognizes that they may be in an abusive relationship, what is the one thing that they can do? Because we were talking about how an abuser will isolate the victim away from their friends, away from their family, to make them feel like the only person they can depend upon is the abuser. So what do they do?
Well, one of the main things that we want to make sure that they're able to do is ultimately to be safe. And there are programs that can help them develop safety plans so that they are able to, if they choose to do so, leave the situation that they are currently in. So that is one of the main resources, is developing a safety plan.
I think that a victim, though, would say, my safety, I fear for it. I fear of being killed. I fear of being physically harmed. I fear of not having a home. Perhaps a lot of times victims may be financially reliable. You know, they need that man there in order for the money, and they may say, if I leave, where am I going to live? Where am I going to take my kids?
Absolutely. And so again, even in calling our 1-800 statewide hotline, they can access shelter if they so choose to leave. And there are also programs such as transitional housing, which can provide housing for survivors up to 24 months. And during their time in those type of programs, they are able to access education, assistance with job placement, child care resources. So if financial stability is one of the things that is holding them there, then they should know that there are resources to help them become self-sufficient.
You know, the statistics here, they're just incredible. And to think that Georgia ranks 6th in how many women are killed by their husbands, why does Georgia rank so high, do you think?
I think there are a number of reasons. I think one of the most important reasons, or one of the highest reasons, is that just maybe a lack of knowledge of communities to get involved, to understand and to know that domestic violence is everyone's business. It's not just law enforcement's business, shelter programs business, organizations business. It's everyone's business, because ultimately domestic violence impacts all of our communities in some type of way. Specifically around the fatalities that have occurred, those impact all of our communities, not just that one individual family.
Let's say I'm watching at home right now, and I'm watching the show, saying, you know what, I have a really good friend who I know is in an abusive relationship. How do I get the message across to that person?
Well, there are a number of ways. Again, friends and family are also able to contact the 1-800 hotline, 1-800-33-HAVEN. Continue to be a support system to that person, providing them with information. There are materials that organizations such as ourselves, GCADV, has that can help people know how to talk to their family and friends.
You know, a lot of people would say, when we're listening to the worst of the worst stories, and we cover it here on the news, and a woman is shot by her husband, even a child recently was shot by the father, a lot of viewers would say, why didn't she leave earlier? There had to have been signs of abuse earlier. You've been working in this field. Why don't women leave? When you talk to them and you figure out their situation, what is like the #1 reason why a lot of women don't leave an abusive relationship?
Well, fear is one of the big things. The lack of financial support, if they do leave, not being self-sufficient. So I would say those are the 2 top reasons that people don't necessarily leave.
And when somebody goes to a shelter and, the woman says, listen, I truly fear he's going to track me down and kill me. He's going to find out which shelter I'm at, he's going to find me, and he is going to kill me. How do you assure a woman that this place is truly safe and that it is a safe haven?
Well, again, I would say that you can't necessarily assure, but you can work with that person as much as possible around developing a safety plan, helping that person to know that this is a safe place, knowing that the information is confidential, that is brought there, and that the space itself is a confidential location.
All right, we have about 45 seconds left. What do you tell to the woman who's watching right now who may be in an abusive relationship but doesn't know how to get out?
don't be afraid to reach out to, whether it be a domestic violence program. There are also community-based programs. Know that there are culturally specific programs that provide information, that provide assistance. Don't be afraid to take the first step to reach out for help.
All right, Sheena Johnson, thanks for your time this morning.
You so
appreciate
much.
it. And when we come back, a story of survival, how one woman survived domestic violence in her life.